What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Patty. Oh, it's been a week. It's been a week. I was sick yesterday. Ended up I got off of work, went to sleep, basically for like a good 16 hours until I had to get up for work the next day. And that was today, and then we worked a 12-hour day. So I look a little dead in my soul because I'm a little dead in my soul. We need to make some content. So we're actually here to take a look at our boy Assassin. I want to do an updated Assassin guide. So we're a little bit further along. We're in 66, so we're progressing a little bit nicely. We're doing okay. And we've definitely started to figure things out. So I wanted to revisit the Assassin's Guide and kind of just walk you guys through things a little bit more in detail. So in terms of our skills, what I recommend if you're manualing and not autoing, for your opener, go ahead and open up with Dark Rhapsody. Couple reasons for this. It starts grouping together mobs instantly. This is mainly for PvE. Starts grouping up mobs instantly and is more likely to catch more of them before they start running at you, maybe from a couple different directions. When they first all pop up, you really want to go ahead and get this AoE out. Go ahead and throw out your Nocturne Luna, but don't use the teleport for this time round. Essentially, after you pop that, you're immediately hitting your boy with Prelude Dawn. Now, by this time, this is going to have about 6 seconds or so, 6 to 8 seconds left on its cooldown. So you want to use your normal attack and everything. Don't go into this mode yet. And essentially this will come back up, this will come back up, and you can, sometimes this will still be on like another 6-second cooldown if it's that long, and you haven't had any slight interruptions on your rotation. If this is almost off cooldown, wait, use this, and then go into your shadow form. So I usually go through 2 rotations of the skills. If you let it just auto, it'll just kind of use this a little bit too soon and then blow through these and then use this and immediately pop back out of this form. Your shadow form's amazing. Utilize all of these cooldowns and some of your let's take a look at these real quick. Well, let me do it here. Use your EX abilities. It'll be over here. Those will be a big help in terms of that first opening rotation. You should have about 2 of them once you get past, like, I want to say 40 or 50. But that in your opening rotation, will give you that time so that you get back around and get 2 uses out of these skills before popping into your shadow form. Once you pop into your shadow form, the thing should be around 50% dead, if not more. Starting just with literally any of these will start wrecking things. But as soon as you go into this form, you want to remember that the hunt mark gets put on something. If you kill whatever you get marked with hunt mark here, it resets all of your other skills cooldowns here. So depending on what your situation looks like, if there's a bunch of things coming at you and they're spread apart, you'll want to use this cone AoE first, and then maybe teleport in on them and start getting your backstabs. Really, there's no real way to go wrong here. Just try to stand behind everything you can while you're in this form, and you're just going to see numbers flying and flying up. Alright, so that covers skills real quick. Oop, actually, let's real quick breeze through some of these other things. So these are what I'm running because all of these boost the best skill for assassins, which is multi-strike. So basically anything that has that on there, we're just throwing that on there. Multi-strike is probably the most important substat for assassins. It's better for them than crit. Definitely better than cooldown reduction. Though once you get to a certain level, cooldown reduction will be beneficial, but that's when you're very geared towards the end. And even then still, multi-strike is going to be, your primary, and then cooldown reduction will come in as a close second. So for early on, you want to focus on multi-strike, hands down. I made the mistake of not doing that early on, and once I switched, I noticed the difference. So learn from my experience there. I'm using Black Hole for my skill because, again, just having that control in fights is really, really nice. And then again, this is another CC. CCs don't work great in PvP because Blade Masters are just laughing away CC, and none of your skills work against players. They only work against NPCs, so little bit of a bummer there. Your sigil, there you can spend gold to upgrade these once you don't have these resources. Like if I could level this up further, oh, I can. Okay. You can just spend gold to do that. So don't worry too much about these because they also don't give very much. It's 4 to 5 points per upgrade, and you get 3 upgrades per tier once you start getting it and going to each next section. So don't forget about this, but also don't expect this to make a huge boost, and don't worry about this in the sense of like, oh, I have to choose the right one out of these. Just level them all up, and as long as you have the gold for it and you're not getting dangerously low, then I don't recommend spending on it because it's not that much of an upgrade. As far as the cores go for Assassin, I really focused on getting as much int and dexterity as I possibly could. I did go for inspiration initially because I thought cooldown reduction was going to be a really great thing to pick up on here, especially if I re-rolled into another class that used inspiration, because I was thinking of having Soul Dancer be my alt, but switching to my wind gems and everything made a big old boy difference. So we've got lots of red, we've got lots of green, a lot of green, red, and then yellow, and a few blue. Actually, that's the same blue. Yeah, that's just, I have one blue rune, and it's at the very top of up here. So all in all, get as red and green as you possibly can for your core, and you gonna feel that difference. Main reason we're doing this, in case you're wondering why, where are we going? Over here. So dexterity gives us multi-strike, and it gives us crit, so we're winning twice on that one. Int is our next most important one. That gives us a lot more magic attack, which is also very important, but also gives you some multi-strike. Notice how there's not an M and an arrow next to inspiration here, because that's not really what we want to focus on. So I made that mistake. If you're making that mistake, no worries. Happens to all of us. Just use all those blue gems to level them up, and then just have one really high blue level gem. I don't know anyone that did that. That certainly wasn't a level 8 gem in there. Oh. Alright, so a couple other things that I want to touch on when you're transferring gear. You definitely want to, again, get as much multi-strike and things like that as you possibly can. When it becomes to the attribute attacks that you can put on there, it depends on what EXs you're using. So these skills all have different elements to them, and that's where some of that bonus damage and everything is going to come in. So just to keep that in mind. And then same thing in terms of what we're trying to prioritize with our core and everything. We want to get as much magic attack. Oops. I don't have any good transmit gear, but as much multi-strike and everything as you can. This is going to be a little bit harder. You're kind of just going to have to make whatever you get work here. And it's not too bad, and you can, once you get a new piece of gear, move a lot of this stuff over again. So it's definitely a pretty decent system. I like how they do gear in this game for sure. Alright, so okay, we're only 9 minutes in. Let's go ahead and I'll show you guys some of the rotation and what I'm talking about in Dragonslayer real quick, since we haven't done it today. Let's go see some dragons real fast. Alright. Got some rewards to claim. So I got, okay. Ooh. 250 diamonds? Oh, Lord. Alright. So let's go ahead and pop in here real quick. So again, we want to open up with the gravity attack that sucks everybody in. Throw out our little spinning bladey boys. Alright. And I've messed up on targeting from the very beginning. So let's see if we can try and regroup them up with the big old... Yeah, there it is. There it is. Sorry, I was trying to adjust that camera so it's a little bit better. Oh, nice. It sucks in bosses, too. Alright, he's almost dead, so yeah, we're just going to finish that with Shadow Form real fast. If you're doing Dragonslayer, I do recommend you pop back out of that form and let that recharge while you're waiting in between rounds. Oops, please get that out of my face. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. And if you've gotten as much multi-strike as you can, when things are grouped up like that and you start hitting with a bunch of attacks, they usually just fall over right then and there. Multi-strike is very nice once you start getting a decent bit of it. Yeah, see. You saw my Dragonslayer guide the other day. We're doing a little bit better in these parts now. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just pop into this form, see what we can get done on our buddy here. We're standing behind him and all of his health is gone. Standing behind him and all of his health is gone. See, it's a good idea. A lot of them, even if they're not doing a targeted AoE attack that you can see on the ground and they've got a long slow animation for it, I forgot to pop out of this mode, I'm a scrub. A lot of their attack animations still like take a second to get off, so you can slip behind them real fast while they're, you know, trying to swing at you and get a few hits and everything on their back. It doesn't really matter when you're in this mode, but it definitely comes into play as your assassin, or as your shadow form. There we go. See if we can... There we go. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Then we've got our big old black hole one back up. And our baby one. Aww. I didn't mean to have them both offset from each other. So this guy is kind of the king of slow attacks. So yeah. Yeah, that went down fast. I still have a hard time saying whether or not which mode does more consistent damage, but I definitely like being in the ranged mode during the beginning of these phases until you're down to just one boss target, and then yeah, the shadow form does a really nice job. And I definitely need to change my camera settings so that it's actually swiveling around for me, because I was like, oh no, I don't want it locked. Yeah, I wanted it locked apparently. Tip 2, lock your screens. Oop, forgot I was in this mode. You can still do some pretty good cleave damage in this mode with multiple units, but I definitely don't like getting beat on a whole lot. I don't think this class is going to be able to take many hits, you know, towards the end game and everything. So I don't want it to become a practice or something I'm not conscious of now while I'm leveling, because I foresee being hit being a very bad thing in the future. Okay, let's go ahead and pop back out of this. I'm kind of impressed we were able to go through that whole mode with the shadow form. All right. So we got him grouped up, both those attacks out, and he done took a lot of damage. Yeah, until okay, so it's level 54. Until things scale up to kind of where we are, your rotation doesn't matter so much because everything's just dying so instantly. So here in the next stage or two, it should start balancing out a little bit. Okay. Okay. I'm playing on keyboard using Nox, and I definitely need to set up some more key bindings for my actually skills so I don't have to keep moving off of that. Whew. Okay. Okay. Alright, I don't want this to drag on too long. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, and I'm probably going to die off screen. That's perfectly fine. Appreciate you guys stopping by. If you have any more questions about the Assassin's class, let me know. I'm definitely probably going to do some more guides once we get closer to endgame and start, you know, going over real specific builds. But for now, we're going to go ahead and just leave this one here. Appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'm going to catch you next time. It's been your boy Petty, and we outie. Deuces.